Okay, draw a graph that represents a quantity decreasing at a steady rate and increasing at a steady rate. So first I'm going to sketch two different graphs. If it is decreasing, it is going down from left to right. And when it's increasing, it's going up from left to right. For number 2, which equation does not represent a linear function? If you take a look at the slope on each of them, when there is an exponent with the variable, that's how you know that their equation is not linear. For B, the 3 squared ends up being 6. So really this reads as y equals 6x minus 2. So this one is linear. The third one is nothing. And the last one, if you use distributive property, it would be 3x minus 15. Y equals 3x minus 15. And that one is also linear. For number 3, which line represents the best fit for the scatter plot? This is going to be multiple choice on your test. So for this one, you just should have drawn a line of best fit. It should go through the middle of most of your points and look something like that. It can be a little bit lower or a little bit higher, depending, but it should be somewhere in that area. Number 4, find the slope and y-intercept of the linear equation. The slope is always the number in front of the x. So you're looking for the one that has a slope of 1/3. And the y-intercept is the other number. So the y-intercept would be -5. Your answer should be D. Find the slope of a line that passes through -3, 7 and 3, 9. You have to use the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Label your points, x1, y1, x2, y2, and then substitute them into the formula. It should be 9 minus 7 over 3 minus -3. Because we have those back-to-back negatives there, they become positives. 9 minus 7 is 2. 3 plus 3 now becomes 6. And you can reduce 2 over 6 to 1/3. So your slope for this one should be 1/3. For number 6, find the equation of a line with a slope of 4 and a y-intercept of 2. The formula for the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. So the slope is 4. That means the m is equal to 4. The y-intercept is -2. B is equal to -2. So when you substitute it into the formula, your equation of the line should be y equals 4x minus 2. For number 7, a bicycle club went on a 6-hour ride. The graph below shows the relationship between the number of hours spent on the trail and the number of miles traveled. This is from lesson 7, and they want to know specifically what happens hour 3 to 4. So here's hour 3 to 4. You could see that the line is straight here. So since it is straight, that means that time is passing and no distance is traveling. So they usually ask you to create a reason why this would be happening. And you could say that maybe they decided to stop for a rest. For number 8, the graph of a function is shown below. For which interval of x is the function decreasing and linear? So you have to look through the different areas in the answer choices and decide which area is showing decreasing and linear. Decreasing means that it would be going down from left to right, and linear means a straight line. So between 0 and 10, here's 0, here's 10. That'd be each box would be going by 5. So in the 0 to 10, you could see that it's going up and it's linear. So this would not be the answer choice. Between 10 and 15, which would be right here, it's a straight line. Since it's straight, it's not decreasing and it's not linear in that area. Then between 15 and 40, that'd be the next section. It is going down in this area. Here's the 15 to 40 area. And it is a straight line. So this is your answer. The last part, between 40 and 50, it is going up from left to right, so that's where it would be increasing. For number 9, find the slope and y-intercept of the function below. You have to solve this so that it's in y equals mx plus b. Bring the 3x to the other side by subtracting it, doing the inverse. 5y equals 10 minus 3x. To get the y alone, you divide by 5 on both sides. So y equals 5 goes into 10. First I'm dividing this 2 times. And 5 doesn't go into negative 3 evenly, so I'm going to leave it as negative 3 over 5x. This should be your answer. If you did it in the other order, y equals negative 3 over 5x plus 2. Same answer, both ways are correct. For number 10, find the equation of a line with the given slope and y-intercept. Again, you're putting that information into y equals mx plus b. The slope is 1/4, and the y-intercept is negative 8. Your equation would be y equals 1 over 4x minus 8. For number 10, find the equation of the line using the points listed. So to find the equation of the line, that means you need the slope and the y-intercept. To find slope when they're giving you coordinates, you use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You could pick any two sets of coordinates for this. I'm going to use the bottom two, x1, y1, x2, y2, and substitute them into the formula. 28 minus negative 2 over 6 minus 0. 6 minus 0 is 6. 28 minus negative 2. I have those back-to-back negatives again. They become positive. So it ends up being 28 plus 2, which is 30. I can reduce 30 over 6, and that becomes 5. So my slope is 5. Now to find the y-intercept, there's two different things you can do. You can use the point-slope formula, or take a look at your graph. In this case, we don't have to use the point-slope formula because they gave us the x value of 0. So when they give you an x value of 0, the other number is the y-intercept. And the y-intercept here is negative 2, so b is equal to negative 2. Find the equation of the line using point slopes. The equation of this line would be y equals 5x minus 2. For this last one, the graph picture below is Sandy's water dish. What is one possible interpretation of the section of the graph from 30 seconds to 60 seconds? So if you take a look from 30 to 60 seconds, it's remaining straight. So time is passing by in this area right here, but the water level is not decreasing or increasing. So the most appropriate choice would be B, that Sandy stopped drinking her water to investigate a noise. It can't be choice A because it says she was drinking the water, so it would be decreasing. It can't be choice C. It says Sandy tipped the bowl of water over, making a mess all over the floor. Then the level of water would also decrease again. And the owner filling it back up with water would show that it was increasing. There it's remaining, nothing's happening to it, so she left it and stopped drinking. For number 13, find the equation of the line graphed below. Again, you have to find the slope and the y-intercept. The y-intercept, look along the y-axis, and it starts at 2. That's the initial value. To find the slope, you can use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 and label the coordinates they gave you, x1, y1, x2, y2. You can also use rise over run to find the slope because they gave us a graph. So to find rise over run, so my run is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I ran 4 and I rose 1, 2, 3. So if you're using rise over run, it would be 3 over 4. If you decided to use the formula y2 minus y1, you would substitute in the labeled points. 5 minus 2 over 4 minus 0. 5 minus 2 is 3. 4 minus 0 is 4. Either way, you're still going to get 3 over 4 as your slope. Since they want the equation of the line, you have to substitute it into y equals mx plus b, and your equation should be y equals 3 over 4x plus 2. Number 14. What can you conclude about the graph of a line given by the equation y equals negative 5x? First, I'm going to pull the important information out. The slope of this line is the number in front of the x is negative 5, and b is the y-intercept. Since no number is listed there, the y-intercept is 0. So A says the line has a slope of 5. We know that that one's not true because this line has a slope of negative 5. The line has a y-intercept of 0, negative 5. Well, the y-intercept of this line is 0, not negative 5, so that can't be true either. The line passes through the origin. This line passes through at 0. That means the y-intercept is 0. The coordinate for this point is 0, 0, which is the origin. So that's the only statement that's true. C is your answer. And the last one, the line rises from left to right. Since this is a negative slope, the line is going down from left to right. Number 15, the cost to rent a boat includes an initial fee of $9. Initial fee is the same thing as the y-intercept, so the y-intercept is $9 plus $6.50 per hour. That would be the rate of change. Rate of change is the same thing as slope, so it's $6.50 for every hour. Which equation models the relationship between the total cost, y, and the number of hours, x, for the boat? So since it's $6.50 for every 1 hour, we don't know how many hours the person's going to go, so we're going to represent that as $6.50x plus $9 for the initial fee. So the choice that matches up is B, y equals 6.5x plus 9. What is the initial fee and cost per hour to rent the car? For this one, the graph is a little bit messed up. The numbers along the x-axis should be along the y, and the numbers along the y-axis should be along the x. So for this one, I would just worry about using process of elimination. To find the initial fee, you'd have to look and see where it started on the y, and it starts at 15. So based on the process of elimination, B and C should not be one of your answer choices because A says the initial amount is 15 gallons and D says the initial amount is 15 gallons. If you're using rise over run on this graph, you're going to get 1, and then the run is going to be 25. So your rise over run would be 1 over 25, when really it should be 25 over 1. The answer choices are are incorrect. So D would be the best answer for number 16. We'll go over that one in class tomorrow. Number 17, identify the correlation for each of the scatter plots. For scatter plot B, this is an example of no correlation because they're all over, there's no pattern. For scatter plot C, these points are going down from left to right, so this would be an example of a negative correlation. And scatter plot D, this is a positive correlation because the numbers are going up from left to right. Number 18 is asking which point in the scatter plot appears to be an outlier. So which one is further away, doesn't go with the rest of them. This one right here would be the outlier. If you look down, that would be at 18. And if you go across over here, it is in between 160 and 170, so that's about 165. So the best choice would be D, the 18th week paycheck at $165. For number 19, what are the slope and y-intercept of the function below? Again, to find the slope, you're going to use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Label x1, y1, x2, y2, 15 minus 12 over 2 minus 1. 15 minus 12 is 3. 2 minus 1 is 1. So your slope should be 3 over 1, which is equal to 3. For this one, you can work backwards to find the y-intercept. Forget what the pattern is along the x's. It's increasing by 1, adding 1 to each of these numbers. So if you want to work backwards, you would then subtract 1, and 1 minus 1 is 0. It's important to find the x value of 0 because the number attached to it is the y-intercept. The pattern along the y's, if you're going from 12 to 15, 15 to 18, 18 to 21, you're increasing by 3, plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. So to work backwards and figure out what coordinate matches up with the 0, you would do minus 3, and 12 minus 3 is 9. So the y-intercept is b equals 9. So I could see that C is my answer choice. If you're unsure of how to work backwards, you would use point slope formula, which is y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. We already found out the slope was 3, so I'm going to substitute that in for the slope. Y minus is part of the formula. The number that we labeled y1 originally was 12. Y minus 12 equals 3 parentheses x minus, and x1 is 1. Use distributive property. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 1, negative 3. Bring down the y minus 12. Add 12 to each side. Y equals 3x plus 9 would be the equation of the line if you weren't able to work backwards and find out that 0 matched up with 9. You can identify the slope as 3 and the y-intercept as 9, which is the same thing we got when we worked backwards, again proving that C is the correct answer choice. For number 20, which equation represents the line in the graph below? First of all, I see that this line is going down from left to right, so I know that it has to be negative. Because I see that it's negative, I can already get rid of 2 answer choices. That would be A and D. The y-intercept is 5. That's where it goes through the y-axis. All of the answer choices are 5 as the y-intercept, so that doesn't help me with the process of elimination. To find the rise over run, make your triangle, and I went down 2 to the right 1. So down 2 to the right 1 is negative 2 over 1. The only slope that has negative 2, x, and the y-intercept of 5 is choice B. Now we can move on to the open-ended questions. For number 21, it says a certain function is defined as multiply the input by negative 1/2, then add 3. We didn't really go over what input means. Input means the same thing as the x value. The word output is the same thing as the y value. So if the input is the x value and we need to multiply it by negative 1/2 to show that we do negative 1/2 times x. It then says to add 3, so we would do plus 3. They're talking about the equation of the line here, so it would be y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. The slope is already in rise over run format because it's written as a fraction. So the rise over run is negative 1 over 2. My y-intercept is 3. This is my starting point on the y-axis. If my rise is negative 1, I'm going to use the arrows to show that I have to go down 1 and then to the right 2. I'm going to start on the y-axis at 3, and then go down 1 to the right 2. Down 1 to the right 2. Down 1 to the right 2. I'm going to follow the same pattern, just do the reverse to extend my line. Start again at the y-intercept of 0, 3, and go up 1 to the left 2. 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 Connect your points. To receive full credit, put arrows on the ends, and you can label your line y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. For number 22, it says find the slope and y-intercept of the line. Again, the y-intercept is where the line crosses through the y-axis, which would be right here, so the b is equal to 2. The m is the rise over run, or the slope. I'm going to go down and then to the right. Now I'm going to count my boxes, 1, 2. So I went 2 down, and then I went 2 to the right, 2 down, 2 to the right. If I go down 2, I know that that's negative 2, and to the right 2, that's a positive 2. So my slope is negative 2 over 2, which I then can reduce to negative 2 divided by 2 is equal to negative 1. So to put this into the equation of a line, I'm substituting the information into y equals mx plus b. So the equation for this graph would be y equals, instead of m, I'm going to put negative 1, x, and then my b, or my y-intercept, is 2, so plus 2. Some of you may also write this as y equals negative x plus 2, because you know that secretly there's a 1 in front of every x, so it's not necessary to put it down there. Lastly, for C, it says explain how you tell the linear equation graph has a negative slope. And I can tell it's negative because the slope is going down from left to right. And what is the coordinate of the y-intercept? If you look at the y-intercept, which is right over here in red, the coordinate for it would be 0, 2. For number 23, the equation y equals 10x plus 50 models the relationship between the number of video games, x, a company manufactures, and the cost in dollars, y, to manufacture that number. Part A says determine the cost in dollars to manufacture different numbers of video games. Show your work. So for now, you're going to substitute the x values into the formula of the equation of the line. So I'm going to put down y equals 10 parentheses plus 500. Instead of x, I'm going to substitute the 0 in. The next x that I'd have to substitute in is the 50, and then I would add 500. The next x after that is 100. So you could do this in the calculator, or you can do this by hand. Y equals 10 parentheses 150 in there instead of the x plus 500. Y equals 10 parentheses 200 plus 500. So you're multiplying the 10 by the 0, you would get 0. And then when you add 500 to it, y is equal to 500. So I'd fill that in. When x is 0, y is 500. For the next one, I would do 10 times 50, and then I would add 500 to that, and I would get 1,000. For the third one, I would do 10 times 100, and then add 500 to that, and I would get, what would I get? 1,500, sorry. For the next one, when you substitute 150 in, you get 2,000. And for the last one, when you substitute 200 in, you get 2,500. Okay. Now, when you're plotting these points, the first point is 0 and 500. So I'm going to start on 0 and go up to where 500 would be. This would be my starting point. The next one is 50 comma 1000. So I'm going to go over to 50 and then up to 1000. The third one is 100, 1500. So I'm going to go over to 100 and go up to where 1500 would be. In between the 1000 and the 2000, that's where 1500 would be. 152,000 would be over here. And then 200, 2,500 would be in between 2,000 and 3,000. Connect your points, put an arrow at the end, and that's how you would plot all of the points from your table. Part C says, does the equation y equals 250x plus 500 represent a linear equation? It's in the format y equals mx plus b. There's the formula for a linear equation. So the answer is yes, because it is in y equals mx plus b, which is the formula for a linear equation. The slope is 250, and the slope remains constant. In this case, it's increasing by 150, by 250, and the initial value is 500. But the reason it's linear is because the slope remains constant throughout the entire equation.